Thematic breaks or section breaks in Markdown let you break up sections of text. Let's take a look at how you can use them. Now, exactly how you use these section breaks or thematic breaks is a little bit up to you, but they're often used to indicate that a new concept is being introduced or indicate something like the passage of time in a story. In this case, I have a story and I've broken it into paragraphs, but I want to have a little bit more of a distinction between the different sections here, just to indicate that they're not completely related, that the reader should be prepared for a jump in time or a jump in direction. So between these sections where I want to add my break, I'm just going to go in and add some new lines. And then on one of these new lines, I'm just going to add 3 dashes in a row. So I'll say dash, dash, dash. And you can see that over on the left, I've added the 3 dashes in the Markdown source. And over on the right, it is now being rendered as a horizontal line. That is the section break or the thematic break. Exactly how this line is rendered is going to be up to your browser or whatever Markdown engine you're actually viewing this in. But typically browsers will render this as a horizontal line, and then you can go in and style it differently with CSS. Now, if I wanted to, I could keep adding dashes. So if I want even more of a distinction here in the Markdown source text, I can just go and keep adding dashes to this line. This is not going to affect anything with how the Markdown is actually rendered. So it's always going to be a full horizontal line here. Over in the rendered Markdown, or if you've changed the styling with CSS, it's going to look like however you styled it. But over in the source Markdown, I can add as many dashes as I want, as long as I have at least 3. Now, these dashes are fine, but sometimes you want something a little bit different. So if you really want to, you can actually use stars instead. So we're going to do the same thing between these 2 paragraphs. I'm going to go and add a new line and add 3 star characters instead. And you can see that, again, this is being rendered as a horizontal line between the 2 sections that we've now defined. If I wanted to, I could keep adding more stars, really be a star here just with a bunch of them. And one cool thing you can also do is, so let's go back to just having 3 stars, you can actually add spaces between this. And so you can have as many spaces as you want. So I could do something like this. And this is still going to be rendered as a normal section break over here in the rendered Markdown. As you can see, Markdown gives you a lot of flexibility in how you write these section breaks or thematic breaks. They're also a pretty flexible element. So I've used them to break up different sections of documentation. In something like a story, you might use them to divide up things that shouldn't quite be their own chapter, but you still want to divide into sections. So they're a pretty flexible tool as well. So that's a quick look at how you can write thematic breaks or section breaks in Markdown.